This shouldn't surprise you at this point, but Heather, Josh, and the other stars of the Blair Witch films didn't really die. Some launched careers in Hollywood, while others have turned their back on the business. Here's what happened to the cast of the Blair Witch movies. She's the most recognizable face of the Blair Witch franchise, and that's not necessarily a good thing. As Heather Donahue sadly admitted to The Guardian in 2016, "My name and face are forever going to be someone else's intellectual property." This is what happened when she shot to stardom playing herself as the film's lead Blair Witch believer and documentarian investigator. While she said that making the film was a joy, immediate success afterwards was elusive, especially as the marketing team at Artisan Entertainment wanted her to act as though she were really dead. For a long time, her IMDb profile listed her as deceased at age 24. This confusion about her mortality status didn't help land her many subsequent roles, but she did manage to carve out parts in a dozen or so movies later, before calling it quits on Hollywood in 2007. Her next move was to the Sierra Nevada foothills, where she became a grower of medical marijuana. Donahue's High Times became the basis for her green memoir Grow Girl, which was published in 2012. She then co-created and tried to shop around a pot comedy pilot called The High Country. These days, Donahue is currently focused on developing a line of herbal skincare products and inspiring and teaching others to share their own stories through writing. Josh Leonard told The Guardian back in 2018, "I was up for any kind of adventure back then, so said yes when directors Daniel Myrick and Eduardo Sanchez asked me to play the cameraman." Leonard also experienced troubles being listed as deceased on IMDb by the Artisan marketing department, to the point that his parents started getting condolence calls in response to the fake news. His career came very much alive after the film when he decided to earnestly pursue the craft of acting and stop, quote, being the guy from Blair Witch. A year later, he appeared opposite Robert De Niro and Cuba Gooding Jr. in Men of Honor, followed by a steady diet of independent films, network TV shows, and video game voiceovers. Inspired by his work in Lynn Shelton's improvised 2009 mumblecore film Hump Day, he branched out as a director with 2011's The Lie, and later with 2018's Dark Was the Night and 2020's Fully Realized Humans. Leonard continues to be a working actor in projects like Steven Soderbergh's 2018 iPhone horror flick Unsane and TV series including Bates Motel and Togetherness. He's been married to fellow actor Allison Pill since 2015. Michael Williams is a very common name, but the Bronx-born, sometimes actor, knows you know him better as Mike, aka the Map Guy, aka the guy in the corner from the Blair Witch Project. He extended his resume by guesting on a few TV shows like Law & Order and FBI, as well as reuniting with director Eduardo Sanchez for his 2006 horror film Altered. Williams enlisted Sanchez and his witch co-star Joshua Leonard for the 2013 web series Four Corners of Fear. While he does have a few new projects on the horizon, Williams has moved away from having a full-time career as an actor. He currently works as a school counselor, is an adjunct faculty member at the Jacob Burns Media Arts Lab, and runs the MCW Acting Studio alongside his wife Toni. Williams is currently writing a book about his debut film, with the working title Escaping the Most Famous Corner in Hollywood: How He Survived the Blair Witch. In his free time, he enjoys fishing in the great outdoors. Ed Swanson isn't much of a fisherman nor an actor, but he played out both in the Blair Witch Project as our trio of filmmakers headed deep into the woods. Swanson was on director Eduardo Sanchez's softball team and was asked to play a part in the movie. Besides that performance, Swanson hasn't acted outside of community and church theater. He was in the Marine Corps and got out right before the Gulf War. This brought him to Maryland, where the film was shot, and he still resides there to this day. Now in his 50s, he's carved out a niche for himself as an artisan who creates clocks. As for his fishing buddy with the hat in the film, Bob Griffin, he had never met him before the film, nor saw him after. According to Swanson, his scene partner has since passed away. Susie Gooch was in the right place at the right time when she and her young daughter Ingrid were interviewed for what they thought was an actual student film. They didn't think much about their ad-lib lines until a friend 2 years later said they'd seen them in a movie called The Blair Witch Project, where Susie was listed in the credits as Jackie Hallex. The non-acting natural ladies relished their roles in the film and have happily appeared at screenings and filming location tours in the years since. Susie has been a teacher for over 34 years and currently works as a tutor in Maryland. Ingrid graduated from Hood College with a Master's of Science in Clinical Mental Health Counseling, is currently the lead clinician at an outpatient recovery center, is a big Korn fan, and is engaged to be married. Attempting to capitalize on the hoopla behind the Blair Witch Project, a quasi-sequel Book of Shadows Blair Witch 2 hit theaters a year later, launching a filming locations tour of the first film within this film, led by Jeffrey Patterson. Patterson was played by Jeffrey Donovan, who knew the risks of alienating fans of the original by outright saying it was pure fiction. Fans and critics didn't care for this approach, but it had little effect on Donovan's career. His acting visibility started to pick up steam when he appeared in the 2005 Will Smith vehicle Hitch, and 2 years later he landed a stint on TV's Crossing Jordan. Leading man status was achieved when he got noticed as Michael Weston in USA Network's Burn Notice. In between, he played Robert F. Kennedy in Clint Eastwood's J. Edgar, and later his brother John F. and Rob Reiner's LBJ. Other works of note include Season 2 of Fargo, playing opposite Angelina Jolie in Eastwood's Changeling, and in Lucy in the Sky alongside Natalie Portman. When Kim Director heard about a Blair Witch sequel, she was skeptical at first, but hit the floor when she found out she was going to be directed by acclaimed Paradise Lost documentarian Joe Berlinger. She described her psychic King Diamond character in Book of Shadows as a very intuitive, slightly depressed, acidic goth girl. Director feels the follow-up didn't do well because of poor marketing, and that it ultimately had a lot that it had to fight against.
I thought the movie was cool.
Despite its failure, Book of Shadows was a breakout role for Director, actually her fourth one, after securing small parts in the Spike Lee films He Got Game, Summer of Sam, and Bamboozled. She reunited with Lee in 2004 for She Hate Me, 2006's Inside Man, and the Netflix series version of She's Gotta Have It. Outside of her Lee collaborations, she is kept busy with other films, as well as appearances in notable shows like Sex and the City, Law and Order, Orange is the New Black, The Good Wife, and Gotham. One of her larger, more memorable recent roles was as the sex worker Shay on HBO's The Deuce. 2016's Blair Witch was more of a true sequel to the original than Book of Shadows. It finds Heather's younger brother James heading into those same scary woods to try and find his sister. McCune told Digital Trends, "There was a lot of pressure to live up to the standards of the first one. The film literally gave him nightmares, and in 2016 he told USA Today, I had dreams of being chased by a creature down an alleyway on a regular basis. I'd have dreams of being ripped apart." McCune is no stranger to nightmares, having appeared in 11 episodes of The Walking Dead as farmhand Jimmy. He has also made appearances on series such as Shameless, Homeland, and How to Get Away with Murder. In films, he's appeared opposite The Rock and Snitch and had a role in Mary Harron's tragic Lifetime movie Anna Nicole. Recently, he has also added the roles of producer and assistant director to his profile, having worked on the web series Sugar Pine 7 and the short film Taipei Jesus. Lisa Arlington wanted to make a documentary called The Absence of Closure, including the story of Heather Donahue's brother and her boyfriend James, and even launched a Kickstarter to help her make it a reality. In actual reality, Lisa Arlington was played by Callie Hernandez, who had a weirdly fun time working on the third Witch film's memorable dirty tunnel scene. In an interview with Slash Film, she recalled having a better time handling the close quarters than the claustrophobic camera guy did. Hernandez's acting career didn't start until her early 20s, but when it did, it started with a bang, landing a role that was later cut in Terrence Malick's Song to Song. That was followed by a trio of parts in Robert Rodriguez projects, including Machete Kills. While shooting Blair Witch in Vancouver, she made a singing tape that led to her playing one of Emma Stone's roommates in La La Land. Her credits also include Ridley Scott's Alien Covenant, TV's Graves, and Under the Silver Lake. Next on her dance card is joining Jennifer Lopez and Josh Duhamel for Shotgun Wedding. Peter is James's skeptical childhood friend in the third Blair Witch film and is played by Tuscaloosa native Brandon Scott. Scott told his hometown newspaper that 2016's Blair Witch is more of an homage to the first one, but it takes the story to the nth degree, even though it leaves a lot of Easter eggs and open questions. A graduate of New York University's Tisch School of the Arts in 2004, Scott has racked up north of 70 credits since leaving school. His voice was heard in Disney's Wreck-It Ralph and the Boss Baby TV series, and he's been seen in everything from Showtime's Gorilla to This Is Us to Dead to Me and Goliath. In a Blair Witch alumni pairing, Scott played Lucky in Joshua Leonard's 2018 directed feature Dark Was the Night. Corbin Reid was definitely scared when reading the script for Blair Witch, for which she was cast as Ashley. The poor girl gets a nasty infection on her foot during the journey, which is one of the last things you'd want in the deep, dark woods. In real life, Reid was able to escape the forest and nab 13-episode stints on both How to Get Away with Murder and Valor. In 2019, she wrote, directed, and executive produced the short film Blind Sight, and she is currently making waves starring on the Star series Run the World. The Minnesotan is an avid long-distance runner, a lover of puppies and interior design. Her dream role is to play Whitney Houston. In the third Blair Witch film, locals Lane and Talia are conspiracy theorists who found lost footage of Heather Donahue taped to a tree in the woods. Their find sets the plot in motion, with the two acting as guides for James and his friends. Valorie Curry, who played Talia, never saw the original when she was younger, telling Vogue, "I was terrified of E.T. as a small child. I had a low threshold for fear." Curry's early acting career began with 6 episodes of Veronica Mars, but she took a break soon after to see if another vocation would stick, and it didn't. She returned to the craft in 2011 with parts on CSI New York, Psych, The Twilight Saga, Breaking Dawn Part 2, and even appearing in Blink-182's music video for their song After Midnight. Her residency on the show the following not only earned her a steady paycheck, but it was also where she met her future husband, actor Sam Underwood. The two have since acted together in a pair of short films at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival and even performed music together live. Other notable works include playing Kara on the video game Detroit Become Human and appearing in the Tick TV series. Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more Looper videos about your favorite horror movies are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.